Developing tonight, we are hearing from the family of a Prince George's County mother who investigators say was killed in a violent attack by her ex and the father of her children. As our Alexis Wainwright found out, he was arrested but not held in jail for trying to strangle her just a few days prior.
The 911 call came at 3:35 p.m. Gunshots, a Landover apartment. Inside, Sharita Cristwell lay lifeless, a 29-year-old mother. The killer? Her ex, just freed from jail for trying to strangle her. How did this happen? How could a man, undeniably a danger, return to the world, only to commit the ultimate aggression? Welcome to Viral True Crime Stories, where we bring you the most compelling and heartbreaking true crime cases. Every story we share is based on real events that deserve to be heard. Kindly support us by subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell icon so you never miss an important story. This story will be taking us to Landover, Maryland. Sharita Cristwell was far more than a statistic in a police report. She was a dynamic 29-year-old woman from Bladensburg, Maryland, cherished by her mourning family as a truly kind individual and a devoted parent. The profound mark of her absence was most deeply felt by her two young daughters, whom she shared with Lindsey. At a moving press conference, Sharita's biological mother, Jerese McCotter, and her sister, Kim Cristwell, spoke through their grief, sharing the crushing weight of their sudden loss and the painful reality of the children's daily calls for their mother. This focus on Sharita's role as a loving parent immediately connects her beyond a name, underscoring the severe consequences of family aggression on innocent lives. Imagine the purity lost, the future seized. Can you truly comprehend the void left when a parent is taken from their children? But the story of Sharita Cristwell, like the accounts of so many caught in cycles of domestic aggression, was not just about a life fully lived. It was also about a hazardous connection that would, in the end, decide her destiny.
I don't see her anymore. Not anymore.
The connection between Sharita Cristwell and Lindsey was neither brief nor casual. Their association spanned a decade, a considerable period that deeply entwined their lives. This long history was further complicated by the fact that they shared two young daughters. Such an enduring bond often suggests a complex dynamic, potentially marked by recurring cycles of aggression, reconciliation, and a deep-seated emotional hold that makes separation incredibly difficult. The length of their relationship, combined with their shared children, implies a significant emotional and practical tie, making it inherently harder to break free than from a short-term affair. This background is vital for grasping the deep roots of the conflict and the profound challenge Sharita faced in trying to distance herself. Just weeks before the fatal event, a chilling incident unfolded. On June 16th, Lindsey was taken into custody following claims that he had assaulted and choked Sharita Cristwell. This was not simply an earlier attack. It represented a crucial, well-documented high-risk indicator for future fatal aggression in domestic situations. County Executive Aisha Braveboy, who previously served as Prince George's County State's Attorney, clearly stated that Lindsey tried to kill Cristwell by strangling her during this violent encounter. Braveboy's public comments highlighted the extreme seriousness of choking, an act acknowledged by experts and law enforcement as a strong predictor of future deadly aggression. Anyone who strangles you intends to kill you. Make no mistake, Braveboy asserted. When someone puts their hands around your neck, a ligature around your neck, cuts off your airflow, they intend to kill you. Not just harm you, but kill you. This powerful statement underscores that prosecutors understood the act as a severe, life-threatening aggression, not a minor dispute. The fact that this specific, high-risk act occurred and was recognized by prosecutors, yet did not prevent his release, forms a core point of the ultimate systemic failure. Adding another layer of complexity to their problematic interaction, Sharita's mother, Jerry McCarter, recalled a disturbing exchange with Lindsey after the June 16th assault.
Cristwell's mother says she talked to Lindsey on the phone.
He said, "Ma, I'm sorry and I love you. I love your daughter. I'll never do it again." 4 days later, he killed my baby.
Lindsey had expressed a desire to marry her daughter, a manipulative approach frequently seen in aggressive relationships where the aggressor attempts to regain power or stop the victim from leaving through false promises and expressions of regret. This detail points to a classic pattern of aggression, often marked by a calm phase, where the aggressor expresses regret and pledges to change. This provides crucial context for understanding why victims might remain in or return to dangerous relationships, despite clear warnings, making the subsequent act even more tragic as it occurred shortly after such a misleading overture. Following the June 16th arrest, prosecutors in Prince George's County fully recognized the severe danger Lindsey presented. They pushed for Lindsey to be held without bond, a direct and urgent effort to keep him detained given the gravity of the alleged attack and the clear intent to harm shown by the choking. This plea reflected a clear understanding within the state's attorney's office of the serious nature of the case and the potential for further aggression. Despite this urgent, desperate plea from those who saw the danger clearly, the unthinkable happened. Harry Lindsey walked free. The question isn't if tragedy would strike, but when. Despite the forceful arguments from prosecutors to hold Harry Lindsey without bond after the June 16th choking incident, he was released from custody approximately 1 week later. This choice proved tragically significant, as Sharita Cristwell was murdered just days after his release, on July 5th. While the specific terms of his freedom are not fully detailed, reports indicated that Lindsey was under house arrest for domestic aggression and wearing an ankle monitor when he was subsequently apprehended for Cristwell's murder. This detail highlights that even seemingly restrictive release conditions, intended to safeguard victims, can be insufficient against determined aggressors, especially in cases where the perpetrator knows the victim's location and routine. Such measures, though they sound robust, are frequently inadequate in preventing domestic aggression homicides, particularly when the aggressor has intimate knowledge of the victim's life and movements. This raises critical concerns about the effectiveness of such monitoring in domestic aggression contexts and the necessity for more thorough safety plans or stricter detention for high-risk offenders. This choice, a clear counter to everything the state's attorney's office fought for, would become the turning point. Did you grasp the subtle irony? Rewind if you missed how a protective measure became a false sense of security. The controversial release and subsequent murder prompted a forceful public outcry from County Executive Aisha Braveboy. Braveboy, who had served as Prince George's County State's Attorney from 2018 to 2025, spoke out powerfully at a press conference following Cristwell's death. She confirmed that her former office had indeed pushed for Lindsey to be held without bond after his initial arrest. Braveboy explicitly linked the choking to an intention to kill, asserting with deep sorrow that the homicide should have never happened and that the individual who harmed Cristwell should be held without bond. Her public lament, unfortunately, the defendant was released. And then on July 5th, Ms. Cristwell was killed, underscored the perceived fault within the system. Braveboy's public statements and her prior policy initiatives, such as ending cash bail and advocating for stronger choking laws, create a clear contradiction with Lindsey's release. Despite her office's efforts and stated progressive stance, the system, at some point, failed to align with the prosecutorial recommendation, leading to a fatal outcome. This suggests a systemic flaw or point of failure within the justice system, beyond just the state's attorney's office. Do you believe the system prioritizes protection, or is it reactive, waiting for the worst to happen before acting decisively? Aisha Braveboy's time as state's attorney was marked by a forward-thinking approach that included a strong focus on pursuing domestic aggression cases and expanding diversion programs. Notably, in 2019, under her direction, Prince George's County announced a significant policy change. It would no longer recommend cash bail as a condition of release, instead advocating for alternatives such as counseling, drug testing, and mental health assessments. Braveboy also actively supported legislation to categorize choking as a serious felony assault and launched an initiative in October 2020 specifically to support victims of domestic aggression and choking. These policy stances highlight a commitment to addressing domestic aggression seriously, making Lindsey's release all the more puzzling and tragic in retrospect. So, how did a man with a clear intent to kill, a man who had already tried to take Sharita's life, slip through the gaps of a system designed to protect? The answer would unfold in the most brutal way possible, just 4 days after his release.
I handled several of these cases every single year, families who were victimized by the death of a loved one. But it was those deaths that occurred at the hands of people who the victim knew and was supposed to be loved and cared for by the victim that hurt the most. And I always wonder, what could we have done differently?
On Saturday, July 5th, the underlying pressures in the relationship between Sharita Cristwell and Harry Lindsey exploded into a final, deadly confrontation. At approximately 3:30 p.m., police responded to calls of an aggression on Stretford Way in Landover. Investigators believe that Lindsey shot Cristwell during a dispute. This detail suggests a direct, interpersonal conflict just before the murder, consistent with the escalating patterns frequently observed in domestic aggression cases. The fact that the murder occurred during an argument following a prior choking incident highlights the dangerous, increasing nature of domestic aggression, where earlier threats often result in fatal acts. This was a grim fulfillment of the warnings given by Brave Boy and domestic aggression advocates. Immediately following the aggression, Harry Lindsey fled the location, attempting to evade authorities before officers arrived. However, his freedom was short-lived. Detectives gathered crucial information regarding his whereabouts with the help of surveillance videos provided by the Metro Transit Police Department. This technological aid proved instrumental, allowing the Prince George's County Police Department's fugitive unit to locate and apprehend Lindsey the following morning, Sunday, in Capitol Heights. As this story unfolds, if you're finding yourself gripped by the raw reality of it, kindly take a moment to hit the like button. Your support helps us bring more crucial stories to light. But even with Lindsey confined, the true destructive force of his actions was just beginning to spread, leaving a lasting mark on a family and a community forever changed. The aftermath of Sharita Cristwell's murder brought an outpouring of profound sorrow and a desperate call for change from her family. Her biological mother, Jerese McCotter, and sister, Kim Cristwell, spoke through tears at a press conference, their voices trembling with deep pain and disbelief. Jerese McCotter painted a picture of Sharita as a kind individual and a devoted parent, emphasizing the immense void left in their lives. She shared the heartbreaking reality of her young grandchildren crying daily for their mother, a harsh reminder of the innocent lives irreversibly altered by this aggression. McCarter also recounted a chilling and deeply troubling conversation she had with Lindsey after the June 16th assault. He had expressed deep regret and proclaimed his affection, promising, "I'll never do it again," only for Sharita to be killed 4 days later. This account of Lindsey's apology and declaration of affection just days before the murder is a classic instance of the deceptive calm in the cycle of aggression. It shows the psychological intricacy of domestic aggression, where victims are often caught by emotional manipulation and false assurances, making it exceedingly difficult to leave. McCarter further revealed Sharita's desperate desire to escape the connection and Lindsey's controlling response. "My daughter wanted to get away from him," he said. "I don't want you to leave me." He said, "Please don't leave me, Rita," McCarter said. "If you leave me, I'm not going to be any good." He broke down. This exchange vividly shows the common dynamic of an aggressor's fear of abandonment and intense need for power, which often intensifies when a victim tries to depart. The deep loss for Sharita's 2 young children, who have now lost both their mother to murder and their father to confinement, highlights the devastating impact of domestic aggression across generations. McCarter's plan to place her grandchildren in therapy underscores the lasting psychological and emotional scars left on the next generation. This emphasizes that domestic aggression creates a legacy of distress that goes far beyond the direct parties involved, making the case a moving instance of the broader cost of such aggression. Despite their overwhelming grief, Sharita's family has bravely come forward, actively speaking out and calling for greater understanding and decisive action to prevent future domestic aggression tragedies. Kim Cristwell, Sharita's sister, delivered a forceful message directly to other victims. Domestic aggression is serious. Never let anyone put their hands on you. No matter if it's a man or woman, don't give them chances. Jerese McCotter echoed this feeling, urging victims, "When somebody tells you this, I don't care how afraid you are, you need to report it. This family's courage in the face of unimaginable pain is a powerful account. If their message resonates with you, consider sharing this video to help spread understanding and potentially save a life. Sharita's story, however, is not just one of individual sorrow. It reflects the wider failings of a system that must improve, leaving us with enduring questions that demand answers. In the wake of Sharita Cristwell's murder, Harry Lindsey's legal standing changed dramatically. He is currently charged with serious offenses, specifically for murder. Crucially, he now remains in the custody of the Department of Corrections without any possibility of release. This stands in clear opposition to his prior freedom after the choking incident, indicating a definite recognition of his extreme flight risk and the grave threat he poses to the community following the killing. Lindsey's current detention without release, after being allowed out on a previous bond for the assault, shows that the system can hold him, but only after a life has been taken. This highlights a response-based, rather than a preventive, approach to high-risk domestic aggression cases. The system possessed the ability to hold him without allowing his release, but only after the most severe outcome had materialized. This brings up critical questions about the standards and decision processes in pretrial detention for domestic aggression offenders, emphasizing the need for earlier, more decisive interventions. As of the available information, specifics on the trial outcome or penalty have not been released, suggesting the legal process is likely ongoing or has not yet reached a decision. Sharita Cristwell's tragic passing has sparked considerable public discussion and concern regarding the effectiveness of domestic aggression protection measures and the crucial decision-making processes within the legal system, particularly concerning freedom hearings for high-risk individuals. The powerful statements from County Executive Aisha Braveboy and the heartbroken pleas from Sharita's family underscore the urgent need for a comprehensive systemic reevaluation and fundamental improvement to prevent similar tragedies from occurring. This case is poised to fuel discussions and potential legal modifications concerning domestic aggression regulations, particularly around release for choking cases and the effectiveness of monitoring initiatives. The family's explicit calls for more understanding and action to prevent future tragedies, and Braveboy's firm public stance suggest that this case is not just a localized crime, but a force for wider policy discussions. Such high-profile failures frequently lead to legal scrutiny and improvement efforts. The narrative can explore these potential wider effects, highlighting how Sharita's tragedy might contribute to systemic enhancements, even if too late for her. The sorrow also serves as a sharp and painful reminder of the critical risks connected with choking acts. Our deepest condolences go out to the family and loved ones of Sharita Cristwell. Her story is a profound reminder of the devastating impact of domestic violence and systemic failures. May her memory serve as a beacon for awareness and change, and may her family find solace in the knowledge that her life, though tragically cut short, inspires a vital call for justice and protection for others. Our hearts ache for her two young daughters, and we hope they find strength and healing in the love surrounding them. Sharita Cristwell's life was tragically cut short, a devastating reminder that warnings, if ignored, can carry the greatest of costs. Her family's suffering, their determined voice, now serve as a guide, urging us all to demand more from our systems, and to listen more closely to the whispers of danger before they become screams. What are your thoughts on this case? Share them in the comments below. And if this story moved you, kindly subscribe to Viral True Crime Stories for more in-depth accounts that bring light to the truth and seek fairness. Thanks for watching till the end, and until our next video, stay safe.